Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your March 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually not going to be offering those just yet. I'll probably start offering them again in April. If I start any earlier than that, though, I'll make an announcement on the community section of the channel or also when I post the April videos, so keep an eye out for that. As far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the Bridging the Gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And these are the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards to gain some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as for the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, so with that out of the way, past energy on your side, we have Wisdom. So this is actually the equivalent of the High Priestess card in traditional tarot. And what I see here is it could just be saying that you were really trying to rely on your intuition. You might not have been progressing too far with this person. You might have just been trying to feel them out a little bit. Maybe even doing some online research on this person. Whatever way this energy could be playing out could just be saying that maybe you might have met this person while, let's say if you guys are in higher education, maybe you guys might have met them in that setting. Or this could just be someone from a foreign culture from yours, so maybe you've been trying to adjust to that in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, almost in any dynamic, I feel like the main theme that I'm seeing here with this in the past position was that you guys were just feeling them out. They might have been a bit more sure of the connection than you were, maybe a lot more communicative as well, since I do see the sword there in the background, which to me represents communication, whereas you have your back turned with that book open, which to me represents, you might not have been as communicative with this person. So, but at the same time, we do see they're in close proximity to each other, right? So to me, that points to there was probably some interest there, but you might not have been as sure, so you were just trying to feel the situation out. The past energy on their side, we have the Queen of Wands. So this is actually the equivalent of the court card for Aries. So this could be a fire sign somebody dealing with, possibly an Aries, maybe even a Capricorn, since Aries is your 10th house. But to me, this just says that most likely this was someone that was a bit more open and forward. So again, that represents the same thing I'm seeing here, which is to say that I feel like the other person might have been the one who initiated contact between the two of you, or at least trying to get you guys to take things to the next level. So if this was just someone in your friend circle, for example, I feel like they were the ones who would have been the ones that suggested you guys take things to another level. They could have been a bit more forward than you're used to as well with the Queen of Wands energy, so maybe that was why you might have taken a step back and just tried to feel the situation out. But that's what I'm seeing here. Alright, present position on your side, interestingly enough, we have Power. So this is actually the equivalent of the Emperor in traditional tarot, which is Aries energy once again. So here we see more Aries energy, which, like I said, is for you guys, your 10th house. We will be in Aries season towards the end of March, too, so that could be pointing to that as well. But what I do see here could just say that you're feeling either a bit more sure about your feelings in the situation and a bit more sure of yourself in general, going from the wisdom to the power. And also, this could just be saying that you're more sure of the ability of the connection to proceed forward, too. Meaning that, maybe whatever you do find out when you try to go inward, or like I said, maybe doing some flat out research on this person's history, looks like you seem a bit more sure of the connection in the present, and maybe you're a bit more ready to move forward. We did have Aries moving through Venus as well, so it could have been that as well, that transit that helped that situation out. I think it's still in, I think it's going to be in there until around the first week of March. It moves into Taurus, I believe. So as far as the timeline, that could have been what it was too. Some of you, this can be someone you're working with forever, but I don't see that as likely here. But yeah, that's what I'm picking up on primarily, which is you feel more sure of the connection in the present. Present energy on their side, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is actually the court card for Libra. So if we look at it this way, as far as, usually they say opposite signs are good matches in the zodiac. So if you're bringing the Aries energy and they're bringing the Libra energy, you could see the natural connection that could take place there. But this could just also represent you taking charge in a connection in some way, shape, or form, given that we do see power, even if it's just you flat out letting them know what your expectations are in the connection. And it looks like they actually could be turned on by that. So this might actually be someone who wants you to take the lead in some way, shape, or form, even though we don't see that here with the Aries energy. So maybe it's just them kind of falling back a little bit too. Maybe it's even them having the emotional intelligence to realize that maybe they were coming on a bit too strong, and maybe to help balance things out, they're letting you actually take the lead for a little bit to help balance the connection between the two of you a little more. But this also, to me, represents someone that would meet you with your energy. So, like I said, if you're someone who does express to them what your needs are, how you'd like the relationship to go, it looks like they'd be willing to work with you on that. All right, future energy on your side, we have the Eight of Staves. So this is actually the equivalent of the Eight of Wands, which usually just represents taking a lot of action, maybe some short distance travel, a lot of communication back and forth. And again, I feel like this is just building on the thing that we saw here. Like I said, if I just look at the progression, for one, now we have regular card, minor arcana versus the two major arcana here, which to me actually could represent your comfort with the connection. We see the growing comfort there with the wisdom, you're feeling the situation out. Power, you're a bit more sure of the connection. And now in the future, we might see a lot of communication and action between the two of you, which is to say that, all right, you're feeling a little bit more comfortable. You guys got out whatever you needed to get out as far as discussing what your needs and expectations are in the connection, and now it's able to move forward in a positive way. This can represent some communication via social media as well. So maybe you guys do live at a distance from each other. Maybe that's part of what the situation was about as well. But yeah, either way, I see this as pretty forward movement and positive forward movement, I should say, as well in the connection. All right, future energy on their side, we have the Hierophant, which is the major arcana card for Taurus, and the Seven of Swords. So I know when we think of traditional tarot and Seven of Swords, we think that this is, this can be an indicator of infidelity. I'm not necessarily picking up on that here, although I will say, given the Hierophant, we do see two women in the picture there, right? Well, here's what I will say. If this is more of a negative interpretation of these two cards, I would feel like, given that this is in the upright, this might be someone who would actually be pretty straightforward with you if they don't necessarily believe in monogamy. So maybe that could be what they might express to you, like, oh, I don't necessarily believe in a one-on-one type of connection, right? And then maybe that could cause the disconnect there, as opposed to someone going behind your back and doing something. So I have to at least put that out of the way. But what I see is more likely being the situation here is this could be someone who actually is interested in establishing a long-term commitment with you, but this could just be saying that there is a bit of a disconnect on how you guys approach it. So, especially because in the traditional tarot, yes, the Seven of Swords, we talked about what that means, but in this particular deck, it talks more about an actual disconnect between two people and just having to be patient and learn each other a bit more. So let's even just put it in a more mundane sense. This could be one of those things where maybe you guys have been friends for a while, you agree to take things to the next level, right? And then maybe you might find out that sexually you guys have slightly different styles, right? So it won't necessarily be the end of the world, but it could just be something that you guys have to work out together, right? Especially because towards the end of March too, Saturn will be moving into Aquarius, which is your 8th house. So it could just be as simple as that, like a temporary type thing that you guys have to work through. Mars will be going into that same area of your chart as well towards the end of March, I believe. So that might actually help you guys get things off the ground in that area. But it could just be something as simple as that, where, maybe they do in their heart of hearts want to offer that long-term stable commitment, but again, maybe once you guys are actually moving in that direction, there might just be a couple of hiccups along the way. I don't see it as anything necessarily like major. And then the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Knave of Pentacles. So this is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. So the same theme there, which is like, to me, especially given how much cup energy we see here, even though it's a Pentacles card, this could be someone that's very emotional and very passionate, but again, maybe they're just not ready to offer the real deal as far as like let's say like a marriage or something like that. You know what I mean? They could be willing to be in a connection with you, but it might just take a while for them to build up to that. So maybe there's someone who's not necessarily used to being in relationships, put it that way, you know. So that could be what's at play there. And then the bottom of the deck on your side, we do see the King of Arrows, which is actually the court card for Aquarius. So this could just be pointing to the fact that maybe you guys have been taking a detached look at the connection, and I could definitely see that there with the wisdom, like I was saying, you know, really trying to rely on your intellect and try to keep feelings out of it to figure out should you move forward with this person or not. Aquarius is the natural ruler of the 11th house too, so again, this can be someone you guys were friends with that wanted to take things to the next level, and like I said, maybe there's just a little bit of hiccups there that once you guys actually do take it there, now it's like that adjustment period you have to go through. But overall, I do see both of you are willing and interested in doing it if that's the case. Alright, moving on to the Oracle cards. First we'll see if we get any additional messages from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck here. So for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, I actually do pre-shuffle this deck before we start recording, and then here I'm just looking for some jumpers. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and after that from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while, I actually got one there. And if nothing comes up after a while, I'll actually just keep it moving since this is just a general reading. Alright. So, since we got one for you, it did fall. I have to pick it up. But first, let me see if we get any unspoken messages from them to you as well. Okay. Alright, nothing coming up yet. I'll give it a few more shuffles before we move on. Okay, yeah, nothing came up there, so give me a second to pick up that one that fell, and then we'll see what it says. Okay, we have, I can't handle your words right now. So interesting. So for some of you, this can be someone that you might have had some kind of a falling out with in the past. Or maybe, again, like I said, even before I saw this message, I did see with the two different energies here that maybe this was someone that might have come on a bit too strong for your liking in the past. With the Queen of Wands energy, maybe they were a bit too forward for you. So maybe that could have been the disconnect there. But for some of you, this could have been someone that you might have had a falling out with, and maybe that's why we see the King of Arrows with their back turned. So, you know, let's say maybe they're in the retrograde, right? Either this is someone who came back during the retrograde, or while the retrograde was taking place, you guys might have had this falling out, and maybe after the retrograde ends, which will be around mid-March, I believe, then maybe that's when you guys get back on track. But that's what I'm seeing there with that card. Alright, and lastly, let's see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle here. Same situation, I did pre-shuffle this deck, and then I'm just looking for one jumper here, and then we'll wrap up. Oh, there we go. You guys got Treasure Island. Hold on, let me pick it up so you can see it. Treasure Island, there's the artwork, and the number is 9. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says the law of attraction bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains and a sharing of good fortune. The Oracle's message says you've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map of buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way as you enter this truly prosperous phase where all the long hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others as treasure multiplies like magic. So, interesting message there too, because for some of you, this could even represent that some of you might have been going through some schooling of some kind, or maybe trying to work toward a promotion in your career. And maybe the power represents you guys actually might have gotten to that point recently, especially, like I said, given that this represents your 10th house of career and social status. So maybe it was one of those things where you didn't really have the energy to put towards the connection in the past, but now that you've reached that level of success in your career in some way, shape, or form, you're actually able to dedicate more time and energy to the connection now, and maybe that's what gets things moving forward as well. The relationship message says your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now. No matter how long you've been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourselves and each other. Now is a time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you great gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. So definitely an interesting message there, especially the first part where it says, "Provide your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now." So this could even be one of those things too, where again, especially if your focus was heavily on other areas of life, maybe you might have been taking this person for granted in the past, or maybe they toward you, and maybe that was part of what the disconnect might have been. But like I said, maybe as other areas of your life might have fallen into place more recently, now you guys actually are able to progress with each other in a more positive way. But like I said, overall, I do see this as a primarily positive spread overall. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right.